Good morning! I hope all of you are having the best morning of your life. And I know yesterday was an amazing morning, but we're going to top it this morning. This morning's going to be even better, I promise. And we're all still hopefully in the positive frame. And if not, we will get into that positive frame because that's all we're talking about today. Morning, Ryan C7. What's up, brother? Yeah, I thank you for coming. Whoever's here, post your comments in the live chat, questions, all that sort of stuff. We're going to talk about Monday mornings, which I think are the best mornings of the week, and I'll get to that in a second. Just remember, like, share, subscribe if you can, repost this somewhere or whatever. Whatever platforms you're using, doesn't really matter. I'm trying to go cross-platform as much as possible. I'm going to expand outward. And yeah, just a question, does anybody use Minds? Minds is a Facebook alternative. It's so much better, yet very few people use it. I don't understand why. It might be a little bit confusing in the beginning. Maybe that's the issue, but minds.com, if you're looking for a Facebook alternative, I suggest checking it out. I do have an account there as well. I explained that Getter has private messaging. I know a lot of people send me messages over Twitter and stuff. I try to respond to all of them. I do get quite a bit, and if I don't get back to you super quick, I apologize. But you also could try messaging me on Getter if you can't get through for something important. Honkingforfreedom.locals.com. The free code is the letters FREE, all capitalized, and the number 6. You basically go to checkout and enter that, and you're in the locals for free, and you can post a comment right here in locals for free if you join. So thank you, everybody, and good morning. And no, I'm not crazy. Mondays are the best mornings of the week. Ryan C7 already. I'm thinking to move to Ecuador or Colombia. Do you think they will hold up politically, economically in the coming years? I don't know, dude. You know, I've been going to Colombia since 2003, and with the election of Gustavo Petro, which is really the Trudeau Liberals meddled in that by bringing FARC, the communist guerrillas, into the fold with their peace deal and helping these guys get into parliament. He's now been elected, and he was sworn in, I think, last week, if I'm not mistaken. And the Colombian peso, I think, right now is the second. It's devaluing at the second fastest rate of any global currency. So I'm really worried. All my friends in Colombia are freaking out. They've been moving money out of Colombia for months leading up to this election. So capital flight is in full effect. I had lots of questions about Bitcoin when I was there because of that. And yes, I would be a little bit concerned about moving to Colombia. Like my closest friend is an expat from England who lives in Colombia, and even he's not political at all, doesn't care about politics, doesn't know anything about politics, and even it's on his radar, and he's like, I don't know if I can stick around here much longer because this is getting dangerous. So and Ecuador has always been, their government's been since what's his name, you know, the Japanese guy, not Hashimoto. Well, anyways, the former president who was right wing. They kept the economies going in Ecuador and Colombia, and they became very much developing nations. And Colombia's completely changed from when I was first there. Like, well, you know how you can tell a country has changed by its access to toilet paper. And I know you think that's crazy, but hear me out. When I first went there, when you would go to the airport, to the washroom in the airport, in the Medellin airport or Bogota airport, whatever, they wouldn't have toilet paper, and they didn't even have toilet seats there. And it's very common to go to a restaurant in certain areas, and they wouldn't have toilet seats. Why? Because people would steal them and sell them. Like they had value on the market. Now, I just noticed this the last time when I left. I was waiting for a few hours for my flight. Obviously, it's an international flight, and I get up to go to the washroom, and I walk into, and it used to be like concrete walls, like it looked like a jail, the washrooms in the airport. Now I walk in, it's like, I don't know, it's beautiful. It's all marble and all the electronic, hand dryers, and they have toilet seats and good quality toilet paper. So I'm shocked. So that's the way in which I measure the economic stability of a country. And so Colombia came a long way. Uribe did a lot for that country. Santos screwed it up a little bit, but not terribly bad. And now Petro is going to drive it in the ground. So, anyways, that's my views. There's many other places about. I'm going to do an episode on Latin America and places for Canadians to leave and options to go to. But I hope you all have your Freedom Coffee. I'm going to have to get a mug that says Freedom Coffee or Freedom Convoy or something like that. So grab your coffee, and I hope you are ready to start your day. And we're just going to talk about something a little bit different because I don't have a lot of time today. I do have a meeting, and then I got to get going down south. I mentioned Monday mornings are the best mornings. And I know a lot of people, scoff at Monday mornings. They think, Monday mornings, back to the grind and whatever. And I think that's not a reflection of Monday mornings. It's kind of a reflection of maybe the state that we're in at a certain time, right? I love Monday mornings. I love them. Why? It's a fresh start to the week. I've done my weekly review in my OmniFocus, and I have a sense of where things are going to be. I'm ready to tackle it on. I'm structured. I'm organized. Monday mornings are the mornings that usually, there are some exceptions, that I'm the best organized for. And when I'm organized and I'm a little bit structured and I know where things are going to go, I'm the most calm. So I think that's something we can take advantage of Monday mornings if we do, weekly reviews, weekend reviews, whatever you want to call it, and turn Mondays into the best possible mornings. So I'm going to explain to get into that, how to do that in a second. Did anybody who was following the last live stream, so did you come to a conclusion? Did the Freedom Convoy have a saboteur? What do you think? Was it one? Was it multiple people? Was there nothing? Was everything that occurred in Ottawa just natural? That's just the way they were going to happen? Or were there some, nefarious entities at play? Oh, I'm getting a hard time about the microphone. Okay, there we go. Is that better? I hope that's better. So I don't know if anybody's come to any conclusions, if you thought about it, whatever, but think about it, because we're going to revisit that topic because there's a lot more to say on that. But it's one of those things that you can't really dive headfirst into it. You have to, over time, add piece here, piece there, piece there. It's really complex, and I think that will help come to a salient conclusion, if you will. So Monday mornings are the best mornings, and I know for a lot of people who are worried about the grind and they feel like they're going back to either work or in the office or back to the factory or whatever, and they can kind of grind on you. What I found is if you plan the week ahead of time on the Sunday and you've kind of mapped out a little bit, I don't like it too structured, but a little bit what's going to happen throughout the week. Even if you don't like your circumstances where you are at work, it kind of gives you something to shoot for in the back of your head. Your subconscious knows that, okay, this is the Monday morning routine. I got to get through this stuff. I have XYZ happening at night and then tomorrow morning and whatever. So I think that lays a good foundation. And then there's the other thing, which is, everybody, so many people ask me, I go to places in the US and they're like, you're a trucker? And I'm like, yeah. And they just, I don't know why, they just assume I'm not for some reason. And and maybe they realize that, I've spent most of my life in some sort of office or small business or whatever prior to that. And they, it's really funny. The reason, people they ask me frequently, and people like myself, how do you kind of, bounce around, all that sort of stuff, and versus, the more traditional way of why, people who were, would have one career, stay in an office every day, that sort of thing, and do the corporate grind. So I did that for a little bit, and I started in that direction. And it was eating away at every fiber of my soul every day. I just hated it. I'm not a cubicle guy. I'm just not. So how do you get beyond that? Well, you start to look for different alternatives, and then maybe that's what sparked, I'm a little bit entrepreneurial, as Jordan explained to me when we were talking in our phone call the other day. So I think one of the big things to help get beyond the Monday morning grind is, what's your core value, and where you're working, does that align with your core value? Like, it's no coincidence that all these younger Gen Zs who work out of Starbucks, work out of their laptop, are kind of digital nomad-y, that a lot of them are quite happy. They're not looking for material value. You see a lot of that. And it's not because they're communists, although some people seem to think that. It's not because they're communists. It's just because they're simple, and they found a lifestyle that aligns with their core values. Everybody's got some sense of core values. Some people it's stability, some people it's pride, some people it's freedom, like myself. That's what my core value is. So I can't sit in a cubicle for 8 hours a day. I go nuts. I bounce off the walls. So, and that's what's led to, all these different projects I've worked on. That's also why I love trucking so much, because it is the ultimate expression of freedom. It's road tripping a couple times a week. It's amazing getting to see all these places across the continent. Well, I haven't gone that far yet. I haven't gone down to the bottom left corner of the United States yet. But it's an expression of freedom. There's no bosses around you. It's listening to podcasts and stopping 2 or 3 times in different towns and seeing what America is like and getting paid for it. So it's amazing. So, and I think you'll find a lot that it's no coincidence that a lot of the truckers involved in the Freedom Convoy, their core value seems to be freedom. That's why the whole message of mandating freedom resonates with those sorts of people, because those are their core values, and that's what leads people in that direction. People, the snobs in the downtown cores, in the the New Yorks or the Los Angeles or the Toronto or Vancouver, like, oh, they're truckers, they're not educated. It's like, no, they just have a different set of core values, and they're not drones that can sit in a cubicle. And maybe that's part of the reason they didn't go. A lot of them didn't excel in post-secondary school. Those who are non-veterans, and then there's also there's so many truckers who are veterans, and I think there's a lot of crossover there too of people who go into the military. The military is very, very, very structured, and it gives a lot of people structure, which is a good thing. But anyways, I'm rambling on. So, core values. I think that if you have that sort of structure and you're kind of working and laying out where things are going to be, I think it's good for the soul. It really is. And then there's kind of the woo-woo exercise, and I'm not very woo-woo myself. There's there's a book, and it's an app as well, that I discovered many, many years ago, and I can't remember who put it on my radar. It's called the 5-Minute Journal. And the 5-Minute Journal, like, if you want to start your day and have the most positive morning of your week, the 5-Minute Journal is perfect for that. Now, what is it? In the app form, it's pretty simple. It's an app you download on your phone, and it asks you just a few questions that you got to answer, and it only takes 5 minutes. It really takes like 10, 15 minutes. Depends on your level of stress. If you're really stressed and you're really dealing with a lot of issues, like we were in in Ottawa during the convoy, it's a really good way of centering yourself psychologically. Why? So the first question it asks you is, describe 3 things that you are grateful for. Now think about that. You wake up in the morning, you grab your coffee, you open up your app, and the first thing it's doing, you're thinking about all the stresses you have in your day. I got to run around, do whatever it is, things at work, issues with, I don't know, some idiot telling people to honk horns when we know we shouldn't, like stuff like that. And so what do? It forces you to this state of stress. It forces you out of it, because you cannot be, and this is kind of my whole premise I was explaining in the spaces this week, you cannot be in a state of happiness and anxiety simultaneously. Like the human brain doesn't work that way. So when you are in that state of whatever degree of stress, and then you start sitting back and starting to evaluate and ask yourself, what are you grateful for? And really force yourself to do the exercise. You sit back and you start to go through all the things that make you happy, that are great in your life, all the good things. And sometimes it's really quick. Sometimes if there's a lot of stress, it takes 10, 15 minutes. But it pulls you out of that state of anxiety, right? Anxiety is anticipating the future and having stress about it. It pulls you out of that state of anxiety, and it pulls you into the that gratitude, happiness, that happiness sort of framing. And it's that positive framing. Like, I haven't done it this morning before this, because I had so much work I had to do this morning before this podcast. But that is really the secret. That journal is a huge step for a lot of people who have never engaged. And I know it's a little bit woo-woo for some people, and I'm not terribly woo-woo myself, but I got to tell you, man, it is amazing. So it asks you 3 things you're grateful for. Then, what are 3 things you're going to do to make today an amazing day? So it gets you to start to focus on how the day's going to play out and what you're going to do to make it. I mean, it could be small things. It could be, all right, I'm going to get caught up on, I'm going to zero my inbox on my email. I'm going to get ABC done, whatever it is. But it gets you kind of anticipating things, a sense of accomplishment. So again, that's now the second time that it's getting you into this state of positivity and happiness. And then the last thing it asks you is affirmations, just things about yourself, things that you anticipate yourself being or whatever. Affirmations is a whole other category. Now, why is this important? Because there's so much cynicism and frustration about what's happening in Canada during the Blackface era, that we have these, pseudo wannabe communists who have the reins of power, or perceived reins of power, in Canada and are exploiting it. I don't think they're terribly successful. I think there's a lot of infighting behind the scenes. More people than we're aware of are very concerned about this. But the way to combat that, and the way to engage on the topics, and the way to push back is not from negativity and being angry and cynical, right? You don't say stupid comments like, check your ego. Those of you know, it's the funniest video. I saw this video yesterday. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. I'll get into that a little bit later on. But anyways, the way you do it is from that positive frame. Hear people talk about positive energy. That's what they're talking about. They're not talking about actual, and I mean, some people think they are, but they're not. They're talking about the positive emotional energy. And if you get into that state, then it's easy to combat all of this stuff. And I gotta say, for me, during the convoy, it really helped, because there were some days that were quite stressful, but we managed to get through them. then there's I'm going to get into these other things later on, but a whole to-do list, checklist system, or Kanban boards. Getting Things Done was an amazing book that I don't use that system anymore, but it kind of goes in that sort of it lays the foundation for a system that you can then modify and help you have control over your life. And so you don't let things, overwhelm you and get ahead of you. So Checklist Manifesto, Getting Things Done, I highly recommend. I'll be talking about them some other time. We'll get more, the live streams will be more relevant to new stuff, but, it's a slow news day-ish. Well, kind of. Really concerned about Salman Rushdie. I heard he's going to, he may lose an eye, and that's really terrible what happened. But anyways, Robin says, oh my God, when Tom Razzo told people to check their ego in that video, I died. So condescending. Yeah. Yeah, I'll talk about that more moving forward. But yeah, agreed. Okay, so I'm going to get into a couple of questions and comments, and then we're going to zip it up, and because I got more stuff going on, and we'll lay out the next live stream after. So, from Elaine H. Elaine says, looking on from the States and praying for all you patriots. She sent that fairly recently. Appreciate that, Elaine, and appreciate our cousins and brothers and sisters south of the border. I love you guys, and despite our differences, the United States always, and Americans have I have a soft spot in my heart for you guys, so thank you very much. Hugo, who has put out a couple of comments. This was with regards to the Substack. The Canadian Revival will be televised. If you haven't read that, go to bjdictor.substack.com. It's the last one that's up. Something else will be coming up. Ryan C., why not open up Super Chats? I will. I can't until I get to 4,000 watch hours, I think is what it is, or 1,000 subscribers or something like that. So for my other podcasts, we're doing that, and it's just a matter of time till I'll be able to open up. Once I will, you'll see it, and we'll utilize it. But thanks for that. K9, good morning, and I hope you're having an amazing and positive morning today as well. And you are really always quite positive. K9 has sent me some messages over Twitter. In the past, we've discussed some of this stuff, and honestly, I got to thank you guys for all your love and support. Like, seriously, I told that to Jordan when he was saying a lot of very complimentary things when we had a conversation, and I said, it's so nice. Like, you don't understand how meaningful that is when you're constantly getting knives thrown at you from people that you thought were on your side. Like, it goes a long way, far more than you realize. And that's also part of this whole positivity. Like, yeah, you do I put in one of the recent journal entries for the 5-Minute Journal. One of the things I put in there was all the positive people around us that have been supporting myself and supporting all of us in this step towards greater freedom. Like, that is, and that forces you to sit back and just think and isolate all the positive feedback and positive comments and thank yous that you've gotten from people, and we really got tens of thousands of them, and it was amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, so with regards to the Canadian Revival will be televised. BJ, excellent analysis. Just wanted to share that even if I am Quebecois, I'm also a member of the CPC, just voted for Pierre Poilievre, and fully aligned with all that is written in this article. The, quote, conservative values have some considerable support in Quebec, but mainstream MSM, mainstream media, are trying to shadow it, of course, as always. If we unite instead of divide, we will surround them from the east to west and get rid of the wonderful land government, hold the line. Okay, so yes, I agree. The only caveat I would say to that is when you say the division, unfortunately the division doesn't come from the left right now. It comes from the extremist, not an extremist right, that's the wrong term, the opportunist right. the ones throwing the knives at everybody else's back because they want to be in control and they think they're the only ones who should speak. And if people speak about, positivity and positive framing and understand modern media strategies, no, well, he's the enemy. I encourage you to watch Lauren Southern's documentary called, I think, The Whole Truth is what it's called. Something like that. It's 2 hours long approximately. And there is so much truth in that. I sent her a message afterwards and I said, wow, like, you have no idea how much we have in common on this issue, because she reached out to me during the convoy. And yeah, it's crazy. You got to see it. So when people just talk about the divisions are on our side, and they're just evil. They're just evil people. And there's a small crew of them, a network. It's almost like I call it the conservative cartel, who think they're the ones in charge, and they're going to learn very harshly they're not. Okay, another message I got from Beth. Beth has been sending messages, a lot of very long and very supportive messages. And they're really touching, so I really appreciate it. So because she's been sending so many messages, I just wanted to cover this one. She said, this was yesterday or the day before, I want to follow up my earlier comment from today in response to your Freedom Coffee chat from this morning. An outright attack or opposition, you know who the enemy is, referring to what I was just explaining. You know who wants to destroy the movement or damage its momentum? Yes, we do. An insider attack can be subtle, but even more dangerous and deadly because you don't see it coming. Well, some people don't see it coming. I see it coming. They don't think I know I see it coming, but I do. I did attend a freedom event last summer here in Burlington. It was nice to get out and meet people from the local PPC candidate. Came with signs and a loudspeaker. I felt that this political party has attempted to take over freedom events or gatherings since 2020. Thank you for keeping the Freedom Convoy from aligning itself from one political party. I feel that if you had aligned yourself with if one or any other political party, you would alienate many like-minded individuals who do not align themselves with a particular party, which was exactly my point during the convoy. And Tamara and I talked about that very beginning and agreed on that. In this way, I felt that Freedom Convoy was able to put aside politics and unite Canadians of all kinds in one common goal, freedom. And that is spot on, 100% correct. And that was the whole point. And that's why it was so frustrating to get these political insiders every day. Like, oh, we have the leaders going to talk. Like, get away from me. I don't really care. All I care is about mandates and freedoms and all that stuff. I got a comment here on locals. So I don't really say the name of the organization, but an organization seems to be counterintuitive to some degree, although they provide great information. They are very negative to even people who support them. You're gonna remember I mentioned on an earlier episode, there's a lot of money flowing around from people who are trying to ensure they, like they always say in politics, control the narrative. We need to control the messaging. So what they're doing is they're throwing money around to all these little organizations, 10 grand a month here, 10 grand a month there. And I know who they are, and I know what firms they own, and I know who they work with, and I know their network and all that sort of stuff. And what they're doing is they're trying to isolate everybody that was part of the Freedom Convoy. So they're trying to ensure that myself and Tamara and others can't speak, i.e. the bail hearings. They're trying to ensure that all of us are kind of separated. They're causing infighting between each other trying to ensure we don't trust one another. So it's pure divide and conquer. And I know the people who do it because it's a common strategy they've always used. So it's nothing new. But yes, you are 100% correct. And but that's why, I've continue to speak out, and I'm working with other people who are supportive and helpful and who are also speaking out. And our core mission here is not the protection of any political party. It's the protection of freedom, focusing on everything being peaceful, not allowing them to denigrate the what we had done in Ottawa, which is what they're all going to try to do. So they have a strategy that I believe they have a strategy they're working on to completely destroy the credibility of the Freedom Convoy. So none of the political parties need to go near it, because they don't control it. They don't control me. They don't control a few other people. And like I said, these people are just evil. They're just evil. But what are you going to do? You let people do what they do. That's their problem. And we move on from there. Okay, I have to cut it short today. I'm sorry, guys. It's short. It's a half hour already. I got to run. And I love you guys all. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope your week is amazing. I won't be doing a live stream tomorrow, unless I start doing them in the truck, which I don't think I'll be doing anytime soon. Like not in the truck, but in the back, the cab area, like on the desk and stuff like that. But probably on Wednesday morning, I'll be seeing you again. And Robin, have the best morning. I want you to have the best morning of today and the best morning of the week. And if not, then the next time we talk might be an even better best morning. So all the best to all of you. Love you all. We'll talk to you soon.